My name is Gordon Feller, and I'll be your master of ceremonies for these 2 days. We kick off this morning. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for taking the time here. We love you, and we've created a program that we think matches the view. So here we are in the old Ford Motor Factory, and we think that this is a good symbol for the kind of rejuvenation and revitalization of cities that we're going to talk about over the next 48 hours. And with you here, and we really are grateful that you've made it to join us today, we want to kick off the 10th year of our work to really understand what are the core principles that would make it possible for cities to make a successful transition to that resilient, sustainable, smart future that we're going to be talking about for cities. We hear a lot about smart cities, and obviously it's an overused phrase, and it's being beaten to death in a lot of contexts and a lot of environments. So we think that we want to rejuvenate the discussion and revitalize the discussion about the future of cities. So we have here in this place today and for the last 10 years attempted in these 8 areas that you see on the slide to really understand what are the core fundamentals that make it possible to make the big choices that we face. You're the city leaders representing private sector, public sector, elected and appointed, nonprofit sector, philanthropy sector, academic sector, and you're from amazing geographies. And we think that we want to be able to serve you with a host of what we think of as ingredients for a fantastic meal. This meal that we've designed for you over the next 2 days is a pretty rich meal, and we're going to go real fast. The courses are going to keep coming at you, and we want you to take opportunities to refresh, so we've made sure there's a lot of white space in the program, breaks and lunches, but we want to keep coming back to the how. Not just the what are the policies or what are the technology innovations or what are the social innovations, but how can we make the transition and accelerate the transition to that preferred future. And we think we've assembled 65 plus amazing resource leaders, experts like you, who are going to be on stage, some of them leading workshops, a lot of them laying out, sometimes for the first time, the key ingredients that make not just what they're doing amazing, but how they're getting there maybe even more amazing. Because our goal is to identify the replicable, scalable, transferable innovations, and we want to hear from the innovators themselves who are making those innovations happen. And some of them are unsung. And we think that that's maybe a good role that we play, a useful role that we play, to put the spotlight on people that you've never heard of, but who are absolutely doing amazing things in their cities and who are ready to take it from science experiment to full-scale implementation, because scalability, in our view, is vital. We hear time and again through our surveys with you that we want more opportunities, more platforms, for you to engage with each other. And to facilitate that, we have this annual magazine, which is the best of the blogs. We want you to consider writing a blog post with us, and you'll find our guidelines easily enough, and we publish a lot of them, and many of you in the room have been gracious in writing those blogs for us. And we think that these 12, if I remember correctly, of the best of the blogs are going to be a help in our conversation about how do we implement now the innovations that are already available but not fully and widely dispersed. But one of our goals is not just great platforms like the annual magazine, but great people who you're going to meet, who maybe you never would have met otherwise. And we've heard in surveys consistently that this is one of the things that we do well, is putting you into contact with people that you would never have met otherwise, who are doing work in related fields, but maybe not exactly the same. But the relationship between what they're doing in their domain and what you're doing in your domain is there and ready to be uncovered. And so this is why we have People Changing Cities, a Kresge Foundation-funded program that we have undertaken in partnership with UIX Cities. At uixcities.com and on our blog, you'll see these people. 4 of them are going to be on stage with us over the next 2 days. 5 more of you are in the audience. I don't know if any of those in the picture, but so far we've showcased and highlighted the work of 55 innovators. So you came from all over the world. Some of you came from New Zealand and Australia. Thank you for 22 hours of flying time. We appreciate that. Some from Japan, from some Korea, but not just Asia and Latin America and Africa, but really everywhere. And we have, as you see there, 23 countries represented, 140 cities, and all of you in the room are really the resource that we thrive on. So we, this year, decided to really up our ante and to make sure that in the room we had people who couldn't normally afford to be in a room like this. Not just graduate students who are the next generation of leaders, but the people in the nonprofit sector, in government, in academia, and the entrepreneurs and startup leaders who really represent the next generation of talent. So we want to focus on you this time. We heard this in the surveys, and we listened carefully, and so we've designed something that you're going to see back on the wall. Actually, it's the glass wall facing the bay, behind the AV island, is the ideas wall. And Jesse wrote up, our executive director, one of the kinds of questions that we want you to think about. The idea that you think is going to be potentially a great conversation starter. So we stole this idea from NASA. Thank you, Rosalind Grimes, wherever you are from NASA, because this was something that NASA has done. We're not afraid of stealing ideas, and we have great lawyer friends who will protect us from the intellectual property hounds. But this idea really has helped NASA quite a bit. It's going to put somebody on the moon, I'm sorry, on Mars, so it better be a good idea that you come up with. So write down a provocative statement or a question on the idea wall in the lobby in the next 30 hours. And it could be, for instance, a missing dimension or theme or idea that you don't really see adequately represented in our discussion, or a cut deeper than the conversation got. And put that suggestion on the wall by 1:45 p.m. tomorrow. That's step 2. Once you come up with your idea, write it down. That's your deadline. And at about 2:15, you're going to have a chance to sit down, look around the room at the tables, and you'll see the ones that have been chosen. About 15 will be chosen, to really give us a chance at 2:15 to spend some quality time with each other, talking through how do we bust the barriers that prevent us from making a more rapid transition to that more equitable, more sustainable, smarter, and more resilient city that we're going to be talking about today. So we thought, why stop at an afternoon around new ideas and the idea wall? We would use our lunches also for the same thing. So these are the kinds of themes that are going to be on the tabletops, the signs on each of the lunch tables, and you'll see these first 15, and you'll see these next 14, and what we want you to do is think about where would you like to be sitting for a conversation. And we'll show this again so you don't have to memorize all of these. There will be a quiz, but not right now. But the point is that we're trying to cover the themes that we heard from you through our surveys. So to give you a flavor for how exciting the next generation of innovation is, we thought sitting at a table and having a conversation is great, but it's really great to test drive an amazing new next generation, 21st century plus automobility innovation. So you can sign up today, tomorrow. I think the last sign-up slots are going to be at the end of the day tomorrow. There may be some rain tomorrow, so if you want to test drive, as in stress test, tomorrow is your day, because there may be a little rainmaking amongst us. But today is the day when you can do this in clear weather, because it's pretty nice out. But this, I promise you, is the most amazing thing you'll do this year, in addition to being at Meeting of the Minds. So, thanks to our presenting sponsor, who's been with us for 10 years. Toyota was there at the founding of all of this when we basically came up with the concept of trying to accelerate the transition and building new kinds of partnerships that are required and necessary, and maybe not so easy. Partnerships across our sectors, partnership across various industry categories like transport and energy and water and buildings and equity, but also across geographies. And so we are going to be here today thanks to our sponsors, and I want to give you a chance to at least hear their names, because some of them you'll have a chance to talk to while you're with us. The Barr Foundation, based in Boston, is one of our global sponsors, and we really are pleased that they're joining us at this level. Gold sponsors, Itron, Deloitte, JPB Foundation, and silver sponsors. These are corporates like Microsoft that you have known, but also some like Black & Veatch. Those of you who are not in the engineering and construction or utilities and transport sector, you may not know Black & Veatch. You do know Wells Fargo. You probably have not heard much about Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Kresge Foundation, of course, has been a partner with us in the Urban Innovators Exchange and the Volvo Research and Education Foundation. The Casey Foundation you're going to be hearing more about later, because not only are they a longtime partner and sponsor, but they've also helped us put together a survey research tool to understand better how our extended network, beyond those who are in this room, have been engaged with us and where they want us to play. And the nonprofit partners who we've invited to participate, the California Wellness Foundation, along with some others who are bronze sponsors like PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, the IoT Talent Consortium, Cisco, Kaiser Permanente, or Oracle, Half Moon Brewing. You'll see what Half Moon Bay Brewing has in store for us later tonight. MCE, Clean Energy, Pantaria Foundation, Lincoln Institute, and the California Endowment, along with Tam, who was thankfully our sponsor for the reception last night, and AT&T. And in that spirit, I'll tell you about what AT&T has outside for us. These are our partners, university-based, think tank, nonprofit organizations in all cases, Stanford University, University of California, Berkeley. So if you ever want to know where the internet access info is, it's in the front inside cover of your program. We know it's important. It's like oxygen. If you don't have internet access, you can't breathe. So we want to make sure you have easy access to that information. And we want you to join the conversation. Get your updates via the Twitter feed. Use the hashtag when you want to share your thoughts. So be sure to consider the sign up, and be sure to let us know as we're progressing here. There'll be question time. There'll be opportunities for you to let your view known to us via Twitter.